These are the faces of a new kind of slavery. They may be your neighbor, your co-worker, your friend. They are brought into this country legally and illegally, often borrowing heavily to pay for transportation and help in crossing the border, only to find themselves trapped by human traffickers who force them to work for substandard wages, in substandard housing, often with no way out.
You will work for the wages that we tell you to work for, or less, or since you're illegal, you could get deported.
The Kansas City Star spent 6 months investigating America's new slavery. Our study of human trafficking took us from a flight of deportees to a river in Guatemala where desperate immigrants begin their hazardous journey to America. What did we find? The U.S. declared war on human trafficking nearly a decade ago, but our investigation found, despite all the rhetoric and millions of tax dollars, we fail to find and help tens of thousands of victims. We do little to stop incoming traffickers at the borders. When we do find victims, many are denied assistance, and our fraud-plagued work visa system allows some traffickers to bring their victims here legally.
And what we've learned is that human traffickers are often bringing their victims into the United States completely legally, using legal documents, using our guest worker visa program.
This trafficking in human beings, the newspaper found, exacts a terrible human toll. Many are forced into the sex trade or hard labor. Once here, they're often forced to work for low pay or in dangerous conditions. They toil in factories and massage parlors, on fruit and vegetable farms, and inside homes, hotels, and restaurants. Stripped of their humanity, they're often threatened with their lives if they don't submit.
I was truly amazed about here in the U.S. and how they're treated. One woman was not allowed to use the bathroom inside the house. She had to go outside with a plastic bag and go into it. She couldn't sleep on the bed because she was quote-unquote dirty. Just how they are treating these people, and it's so hidden, but really hidden in plain sight because they're all around us.
How is human trafficking different from illegal immigration? Many trafficking victims come here willingly, either on legitimate visas or illegally. They become victims when things change through force, fraud, or coercion, and they're forced into the sex trade or hard labor in situations they can't control and want out of. Some feel if you come here illegally, whatever happens to you is your fault. But human trafficking is not an immigration issue. It's a civil rights issue. And, adding insult to injury, many victims are deported, even though federal law says victims should be given refuge here.
If you're trafficked, if you're made into a slave, then under federal law, the U.S. owes you an apology. The U.S. owes you services. The U.S. owes you medical care and possibly even a visa and a green card to stay here, kind of as an apology to what happened to you on U.S. soil.
It is an immense human tragedy, one the newspaper will explore in the coming days. Reporters Mike McGraw, Laura Bauer, and Mark Morris, with photographer Keith Myers, and editors, producers, and others, all bringing you a story of heartbreak and shame, a new slavery in the Kansas City Star. Dave Helling for the Kansas City Star.